I've worked with over 1,000 small accounting firms in the last 2 years, and today I'm spilling the beans on the biggest things that are moving the needle for these firms, driving profitability, flexibility, getting back control of your life. These aren't the strategies that, software players are pushing on firms. It's the stuff that's actually working. So today I'm gonna give you the 4 most important high-level strategies that will translate into more money, more profit for less work, and then the 4 most direct tactics you can implement today to get immediate ROI. Let's hop in. Number 1, always remembering to keep it simple. Never forget the very simple math that is running an accounting firm. Because overwork, profitability issues, not being able to find enough staff, every single one of those problems can be solved with this equation. Check this out. We're gonna say your firm runs at a 40% margin. Here's client 1.0, the client you have today. For every $100 they pay you, you're paying $60 back out in staffing and software costs, profiting $40. 40% margin, that's pretty average for firms. And there's this old adage that's completely flawed. The notion that if you double your prices, you'll go home by lunch. It's wrong, it actually takes way less than that. Just look at the math here. Client 2.0. If we can increase prices by 20%, doing the same work, maintaining the same cost structure, our profit's now $60. That's a 50% increase in profit on a 20% increase in price. If we get to client 3.0, who will pay 40% more for the same thing, we have now doubled our profitability. Remember that thing I said about doubling your prices to go home at lunch? We're now going home at lunch with only a 40% price increase. Now, this comes back to what is the margin of your firm? The smaller the margins, the juicier this is. So if you're running a 20% margin firm, you're going home at like 9 or 10 in the morning now. If you're on a higher margin firm, 50% or up, most commonly in this case, means you're working for free. So we're kind of fooling ourselves when it comes to our own profitability, because to do that work or hire somebody to do that work, your margin's gonna come down closer to 40%. But when this is the math of it all, and doubling your profit means you can do half the work or need half the staff, that solves all of your problems, right? Which means that the North Star of the game is as simple as this. How do I get from client 1.0 to client 2.0 to client 3.0? Find that person who will pay more than the people I have today for the same work so I can take on that new project and cut 2 old projects. That's the game. And to be able to do that, you have to do number 2, find your A client. Let me help you identify who your A clients are, because you probably already have a few of them on your client list. Check this out. Your A clients, they rave about the before and after.
That's why he's the GOAT!
They happily pay the bill without second thought. And when you brought them in the door, they may have even said yes to a price that you were kind of like, whoa, I maybe didn't think that anybody would say yes to this. On the other end of the spectrum, you got the stinkers. You're marking down their invoices and they're still complaining. They're paying less than your new clients are, or they've got the old special deal, the old friends and family. Most firms, they serve all of these different clients more or less the same way. And when the D client complains, it takes up a bunch of headspace. When the A client doesn't complain, it's just kind of business as usual. And we run the risk of building a firm that's optimized for the D client who complains, which is what makes the third strategy so important. You gotta make room for A clients. That means getting real about who those C and D clients are and being willing to do the hard, the scary thing. Stop fooling yourself into thinking you're doing anybody any favors. In fact, the best way to do this is to let those clients go to another firm for whom they will be A and B clients, just like they were for you one day, right? If we cling to those people that we started working with in the very beginning, once we've outgrown them, and oftentimes we don't give those clients like the love and attention we once did, we are doing them a disservice, not moving them to someone else for whom, they could be the very first clients who put food on the table for that new firm owner, right? Now, A, B, C, D clients, recognize you already have all of these clients on your list. What we're doing is we're doubling down on the A clients. Strategy tip number 4, repeat. Know that the real value of finding client 2.0 is because then you can find client 3.0, but it doesn't end there. Then you go on to 4.0, 5.0, 6.0. This is the game. In the same way that your clients who are C and D clients today were once A clients for you, the clients who today are your A clients, someday, they're not gonna be your A clients anymore. In fact, if you've gone through a tough few years of increasing prices and changing your business, oftentimes you will look back 18 months in the past at an engagement that you set up at a rate that you thought was great at the time. You will look back at that and say, holy smokes, we were just giving it away back then. And then 18 months later, you look back, you do the exact same thing. That's good. That's actually a firm that is growing. You're finding the next client for whom you're solving more painful problems so that they will happily pay you more money than the clients you have today. We're not fleecing anybody. we're solving more painful problems for folks who have the money to pay for the solution. Okay, those are the 4 big strategies, kind of the North Star of what does my firm need to be thinking about? Because as much as we like to geek on operations and automation and getting all these returns and month-end closes out the door, at the end of the day, your firm is as good and as profitable as its client list. So someone has to be investing in finding the client who will pay more for the work that you already do, because that solves all of the problems. Now there's like micro strategies galore within this. How do I get more A clients to discover me? Starting every new client with a trial project so that when they sign on for recurring services, they've already been dazzled and will pay 20 to 40% more from day one. The difference between attracting a client that works well for me versus works well for my team. Whole bunch of stuff. Like every single one of these just has a ton of nuance to explore. It's actually what we explore on my podcast almost every single day, digging into the nitty-gritty of each of those things. You can find that both on YouTube and on an audio-only feed, but let's get into the tactical stuff. 4 very specific things that you can do. This is getting down into like what you put in front of your clients, the tools that you use and all of that. Number 1, I've talked with so many firms who have made, this has been a huge change for them in the last couple of years, going to 3-tiered proposals. And this sounds basic. It's like, why is this that big of a deal? Let me walk you through it. So 3-tiered proposals, in short, the whole bronze, silver, gold thing, giving them multiple options. And when you first start out here, almost all of your clients, when you put this in front of them, they're gonna currently be on the bronze plan. And this is one of the things that makes this powerful, is nobody wants to be on the bronze plan. You're gonna have a few cheapskates who are like, no, I just wanna pay the bare minimum. But this gives people a way to self-select into you doing more or doing better. Actually thinking that it's more can be a trap. But you find when you just sell a single flavor of dog food that your C&D clients will complain until the end of time, but you got a whole bunch of clients on the client list today who will happily pay more. And by giving them 3 options, they now have the ability to self-select. Now a trap here is doing anything and everything for them on these silver and gold plans. That's actually not what this achieves. The way you design your silver and your gold plans should be to do more, to do better for people, but at a higher effective hourly rate. If I'm just doing 2x the work and getting paid 2 times as much, that's not progress. Designed well, it means you're getting actually paid more on those silver and gold packages relative to inputs, whether that's hours or whatever that looks like for you. So simply by rolling this out to your client base, you get a huge percentage of those clients that then opt into silver or opt into gold, who were previously only paying you bronze prices. Can this lead to like you doing more work, ending up over capacity? Potentially. And so a great hack here is to say, we're only gonna let 20 people sign up for this plan. Now you got a bunch of urgency. Now you got people even more likely to pounce on that. And again, don't put all the pressure on you to be like, well, crap, now I gotta somehow magic up a whole bunch of additional things and all this additional value that I have to give these clients. The thing we gotta realize is the people who will pay more for that, the people who will go to silver and go to gold, they're already getting way more value than they're paying for. That's what we don't realize. That's why they're happy to upgrade. Now, the tools I recommend for this, either Ignition or Anchor. One last thing this allows for, you may have noticed the price on the gold package here is a YOLO price. There is nothing more powerful and transformative in your firm than a client saying yes to a YOLO price that you didn't expect. You put that out there and you're like, there's no way that they will, but I would sure be happy if they did. Until one day, somebody does. And if you've ever experienced this, you know this causes you to hit pause and be like, hang on, we gotta reassess whatever we thought it was we knew about what we were doing, because we just found someone who will pay more than we understand for our services. And that's when you gotta dig in and understand, what is their life story? Like, what are they going through? What are the circumstances in their business that make us and that sticker price worth it? And before you know it, that YOLO price is the new normal. And we're not talking about 20, 40% price increases. We're talking about 2 to 3x the rates. I had 2 or 3 of these in my firm running journey. And every time we uncovered this new pain that we didn't know existed that we were solving for clients and realized, okay, there's a whole bunch more people out there like this. This is now who we want our next client to be. Okay, second tactical tip for you, using Keeper for month-end close automation. Here's why I'm talking about Keeper. I mean, I've liked the platform for a while. Here's why it raises to the level of being pulled into this video. So I run an online community. It's got about 500 firm owners in there. It's honestly I only talk about it in this content. So it's just about the most progressive group of small firm owners that I think exists. And I put out a poll to the bookkeeping firms, the folks that know bookkeeping software better than anybody else. Truly, these are incredibly sharp people. I said, what percentage of you are using Keeper today? Look at this. 75% of those people are using Keeper. 22% are interested in exploring it more. There is nothing else an accounting firm running that has that level of saturation. There's so many tools, so many practice management systems, seemingly different tools that get the same job done in different ways. If I told you that a group of 500 of the most progressive firm runners in the world, 75% of them are using a specific tool for a job. There's certain situations where I don't try to make it any harder than I need to, and I'm like, I'm gonna follow this because there must be something there going on. Now, the novelty of Keeper is this. In a normal task management system, it's just a list of things that you gotta go and do in another platform. With Keeper, it is the to-do list, but it syncs in every single transaction from the accounting ledger. So it's a to-do list with all the things you have to do embedded in the to-do list. You gotta change the way a transaction's classified, you do it right there, and then you're done and you check off that to-do item. That's kind of the original premise of Keeper, and so it gives you a single place to manage all of your month-end closes. Kind of a one-of-its-kind platform right now. Now, after writing this video, I reached out to Keeper. I said, do you wanna sponsor this video? They kindly said yes, so roll the music. All right, I'm inside of a month-end close here. August 2024, we're running behind, okay? Don't throw stones. All sorts of tasks in here, from pre-close items to account reconciliation. These are all the actual accounts from the accounting file. But the magic of Keeper is this. So let's go into transaction review. These are all subsections here. Transactions without payees, here they all are. Every single one of them. And to add a payee, I just drill into it and add the payee. Transactions over $1,000, you get it. It just shows everything right here. You make the fixes, and then you check off the to-do item. It's not another system managing to-dos where then you go out to the ledger. Now, piece de resistance here, lots more to show you. But if I go into final review, you can see the full P&L and balance sheet that you would normally review, right? Here it is, all the detail, month over month. I'm gonna drill into this one here. Look at this, wow. Detailed, not by transaction, by contact. I can drill into this and get all the transactional detail. But just think of that. Think about software expense. If that goes up by 50% and you paid 30 different software vendors last month, you know how much work it is to total it by You get it. Why does every platform not work this way? Okay, few new things Keeper's actually doing now that you may not be aware of. One, they've launched a tax suite. Now you can manage your tax return projects in Keeper right alongside your bookkeeping projects. If your client's already comfortable with the Keeper portal, you can use the same one for gathering tax info. Now, a brand new product from Keeper, emails. Right up at the top here, I can flip to my email inbox. I can comment to tag team members. I can add the email to a task with any of my clients. Assign that email out because email is work, right? This lets you keep them connected. Super unique product Keeper is. This is the only place, like this is a dashboard where I can see all of my month-end closes in a single place, all the stuff outstanding. Very cool stuff. Learn more about Keeper, check out the link down in the video description. 2 more tactical tips. Number 3 is tax intake software. The biggest productivity unlock for tax firms in the last maybe decade when it comes to software. I need my tax intake software to do 3 things for me. Number 1, it's gonna create customized document request lists for my clients. Not static questionnaires. It's pulling from pro forma data. What are the things that I actually need based on their prior year tax return? Number 2, it needs to give me a single place for us to collect all docs. Whether it's the client submitting or an admin on my team that's submitting something that just walked in the door, it all goes to a single place. Number 3, it automates follow-ups to the client until they've gotten all their info in. The amount of time we spend paper chasing in tax season is astronomical. Figuring out what you need, figuring out what you already asked for, figuring out if something got faxed in or mailed in. Tax intake tools solve for all of this. I cannot tell you the hundreds of firms who have told me they will never go back. This is not some YouTube think boy coming up with some cool idea. This is watching it actively transform real firms. Last tactical tip, number 4, is a biggie, beginning to lean into daily AI use. Here's the thing, AI is changing work, and we don't all have to agree on how much it will change, whether it is an extinction event or just makes us a little bit more productive. The reality is 2025 is the first year where I would say firms are leaning into it and seeing immediate time savings. In the past, people were leaning into AI because they were like, pretty sure this is going somewhere and I wanna be in the driver's seat, and they are. But now people are picking it up truly in record numbers, small firms, and seeing immediate benefits to it. Now, still a lot of outdated legacy information around security concerns and stuff like that. There are completely secure ways to do this now. ChatGPT team, I mean, it's the place for 99% of accounting firms to start. ChatGPT now truly doing some amazing stuff, much of it new to 2025. And I wanna show it to you. Check this one out. In this video, I break down everything you need to know about ChatGPT and how to put it to work in your accounting firm like now, like yesterday.